Hello everyone, I'm FIDE Master Vladimir Chernikov, and today we continue with Knight versus Rook pawn in games. First part is very important. This is part number 2. So to find first part you can go just to previous video in my YouTube channel and find it. So it's very important because all parts are connected. So we continue with this in game right now. As we see, we have position where white wants to promote the pawn, but knight is hanging also knight f4, defends very easily. So here the way to continue is to sacrifice a knight. Check once again, check part number 1. There is in first position we exactly see the deviation of the knight. It's very important. So this is direct win. I don't say that if you're playing knight e5, king f5, like king f6, knight here, you can in theory try to win still, right? But this is more direct approach. You have knight d4, so you just force position. His king cannot go closer because knight fails. Knight takes his forced move. Now once again we have different continuation, h5 and king f6. Which do you think is better? If you want, try to pause the video and find the move. Okay, you're right if you played knight f6. Why? Because if you play h5, we learned the rule, right? If knight stabs the pawn before it reaches 7th rank, it is a draw. So we play knight e6 with black in this case, and we're threatening this way to stab, already to reach the square, right? To stab the pawn. Only way to prevent, let's say h6 here, and this is a very well known position that we learned already. So the only way to prevent it is to play king f7, then knight goes to g5, and the same story. We block h7 square, so it is a draw. That's why we need to go king f6, so we zone the knight. Also very important thing in knight in games, that you need to try to stay one square away from knight on the diagonal, either 2 squares away from the knight on the line or file with your king. That's why, that's how knight will spend much more temples to give you check, right? So knight needs to try to win. Knight here doesn't make sense because the same rule, king 2 squares against knight. So knight really doesn't get any closer. We just push the pawn, we'll push pawn, and we'll win. If black is smart enough, he'll find only move that complicates at least a little bit. It's knight c2 trying to reach g4 square, h5, knight e3. Now h6 is not possible because knight goes to g4. Also, we can't allow, remember what we learned before, right? Chess is very simple if you remember the rules, right? We can't allow knight to just go here and stop it. So we just need to play king g5. Only move, as you see, to stop the knight. If knight goes back to c2, doesn't make any sense. h6 here, king f6 zoning knight once again, and we do promote the pawn. So after h5, knight e3, knight g5, king g5, knight c4 is unique move, trying to go somewhere here. But then it's still too late. We play h6, knight e5, we play h7, knight f7, king f6, knight h8, and we just assure that black king is far enough. We take the knight, we go away, and we promote the pawn. So as you see, nothing difficult if you do learn. Now in this position, right, the practical tip, right, it's knowing that this is correct move. You will find probably how to win lately. But is it really possible to calculate, or in time pressure to calculate this or not? Firstly, I'll suggest you always try to calculate forced moves, like checks, captures, threats, whatever. So knight e4 is a forced move. Calculate it first, don't play it, calculate. And you'll see that knight really has some complications and just not really easy to calculate until the end how pawn is supposed to be promoted. So let's go to the next one. This one, it's a little bit more difficult because we have much more options. We have more pawns here. Everywhere white in theory can have a passed pawn, but obviously black will be winning. So how we do here? There are different options. We need to throw pawn or to play king c5, right? Two moves looks useful because knight c5, king c5 blocks ideas for knight, and d3 just trying to promote straightforward. Obviously, the best move here is d3, just thinking with logic, man, because d3 also stops the knight without wasting a temple. How does it stop the knight? Because just knight b5 doesn't make any sense. We play d2, we control c3 square, and we promote next move. So this move stops knight b5, this move stops knight b5. So it's just much more simple to play d3. Once again, calculate forced lines, it's always very important. King f1 only move. we try to stop the pawn just. So here once again we have a lot of options. We don't probably like to play king d4 here, because knight will enter to b5, say king e3, knight a3, d2, knight c4. This endgame looks like easy, but not, because someone needs to be tight on defense on this pawn, to not let it to be promoted. White meanwhile will try to go here, try to trade pawns, and probably in this position it will be just a draw. So after king f1, we need to play again other force move, knight c3. Very strong, always try to find also multifunctional move. You control d1 square. If again you force him to play king e1, if this move is not played, you just play d2 and you play d1, this over. So also you're attacking the pawn of opponent, and also you're stopping knight from going back to b5. Very smart move. King e1 is forced, as we said. And now we have option to go king c5, right? The problem is then king d2 and just double attacking, we have to defend it, and we wasted the temple. So now we need to accept that knight will be finally free. We go king d4. If knight c6, that makes sense, because king e3, and there's no way to stop d2 and d1. So king d2 needs to be played instead of knight c6 check. King d2 to not let you pass here. Then obviously it's very simple move, right? Knight e4 check. If not, there is just no way to progress. Like taking the pawn, it's not the way. Because if you will do it, I don't know, probably I can just attack you with knight, attack you once again, and take a pawn lately. So knight e4 check. Where does king goes? Probably only smart move is king c1. Other moves are losing very fast. If king d1, against every move, you just play king e3, right? And you just give check. Wherever he goes, you give another check, and you promote the pawn. It's over. If king e1, king e3, knight b5, you firstly give check, and you give another check, and then you promote your queen. So king c1 is only move to fight. How we continue next here, I suggest you to stop the video and find the best move. We have several options. We have king c3, king e3. Normally, remember, it's like always the most obvious move is not the correct one. I mean, not always, but very often. Try to find how black wins here. Okay, so move is here, knight d6, very brilliant idea. You outplay knight of opponent, and you reposition your own knight to c4. As I said, all the chapters connected, don't forget to check part 1. You will see now what's going on here, what is the difference. King d2, right, because if knight c6, for example, or whatever, just king can go to c3, zoning the knight, and we just win. Like wherever knight goes, I don't know, we can just play, I don't know, e2, then we play knight here, and like knight here, only way to stop knight f2, we play h5, game over, knight's hanging, and we win on the next next move. So king d2 is played, knight c4, king c1, and d2. Looks like we just reposition the knight from e4 to c4, and it doesn't really make much sense. You will see what does it mean. Obviously going here just checkmate. Next move, king, it's beautiful knight checkmate. So king has to go to c2, king e3, trying to win, and it looks like knight b5 is a move that makes draw, because king e2 is not on time. After knight c3 we arrived on time. So here once again, from here, I mean, it's obviously very simple. We remember our idea from first part of the video. Knight a3, deviation, sacrifice of the knight. Knight is hanging, we have to take it. Then we play king e2, and there is no one just to stop this knight, this pawn, I mean, from promoting. That's how we've been combining all our ideas. Once again, very important to check it again if you didn't understand it first time, and find why. Understand is very important, to not learn it, but to understand why we are doing such moves. And now I'll just show you one composition. It's just how brilliant chess sometimes, it's just knight and games. And if topic is already knight sacrifice, here you have one. You need to win with white. Try to put it on your, maybe it's a homework, really put it on pause, wait a little bit. It really makes sense for you to find move by yourself. So okay, I'll comment what it was. First of all, we cannot just play for Zugzwang or whatever, because there is never one. Like knight goes to c7, to a6, go back. Trust me, there is no Zugzwang. Some ideas of knight sacrifice even for black. The move that wins here is knight f8. Brilliant idea. It's took to one. Knight cannot be moved because, I mean, it can be moved, but we just grab the pawn and we promote our own. Then we grab another one and like one by one. So king needs to really to take. That makes sense because not we are going to take. King takes. King e6. Where to go? We just entering and black running out of move. If king g8 then king e7. Only move to save the knight, and the game is to play knight c7 and king d6. Then you just grab pawns one by one by one and you promote everything. You'll have 4 pass pawn in the end if you don't win faster. If black tries to be tricky and to play knight g7, think, well, I have this h pass pawn. You just take it, king g7, king d6. h5 here just calculation, I mean knight e7, and game continues. Yes, like you both promote, but like white does it much better. Check, check, we take it with check, and literally it's over. Like we just might be winning. e5, little, slowly but surely, we'll win this game, but this is just not, like, you'll not learn much. Just remember this idea of knight sacrifice, even though it's not a fork, even though it's not something forced, but yeah, it is also kind of deviation for us to get the positional advantage, sacrificing the knight. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed all the videos. Repeat once again, check part 1, because it's very important to see it before this one, because all they are connected. And if you did like this video, just give me a like please, and see you in next videos.